good to hear that. The first poem I'm going to read, I'm going to read poems from Nectar tonight, a few poems. The first poem I'm going to read is Love Poem. I hear cooing and scuffling as I stand on the steps of my building, and at first with a fluttering hope for an angel, a visitation, but realize I'm listening to pigeons, crammed in a window box, mating over my head. I'm glad I don't have to have sex like that, in a window box. I'm sure Peter is too, glad that is. Peter's my husband, and we have fun sex in a bed, under the off-white comforter with blue floral trim from Fortunoff. We are lucky, we are blessed, we are happily married, both of us for the second time, although last night in the car he mentioned how they sang "The King of Love My Shepherd Is" at the wedding. And I snapped, "Jesus, damn it to hell, that was your first wedding." Pouting and so forth. Peter bit his lip, "Oh, I'm so sorry, baby," as he drove from West 79th to West 53rd. I stared out the window, and people looked blurry and stupid. I thought how nice it would be to live alone in a little Hell's Kitchen studio. But then I remembered that his first love letter, which quoted Hart Crane, came with a box of jujubes, my favorite, taped to the side, and I forgave him. After all, I once called him Sam, my first husband's name. We reached the diner at West 53rd, and Peter parked like a duke. No one parallel parks like my husband. And we smooched, sadness over, as a spaniel, undocked, plumy tail aloft strutted by. Thank you. The next poem I'm going to read is My Sweet Little Pigeons. Just continuing the pigeon motif in a different form. At the Buddhist party, I help Nimala, the monk who loves Volvos like ponies, hangs scarlet banners from parking lot elms until I hear shouts. Exhausted vegans colliding at volleyball. They need red meat, our resident lama says, flipping his cigarette butt into the grass. Jesus, someone says. I thought Tibetans were supposed to be like spiritual. Tenzin laughs, his face a brown, wrinkled moon, reminding me of Byron Putnam, my Chippewa uncle, belly swollen with hams and beef stew, lying with his friends on Sheboygan's courthouse lawn in Wisconsin, smoking and singing, "I'm ready now, my sweet little pigeons, I am ready for love." How he held me, hands soft on my shoulders when I was frightened, before he unraveled from years of hard drinking, dying silently in the Marion VA hospital. The breeze flutters red and white prayer flags, releasing 27,000 invitations into the ghost realm. A white feral cat crouching under the magnolias tracks birds overhead. May she be happy. May the bacteria in the strawberry yogurt I swallowed for lunch be happy, cruising down the river, digested peacefully before my colon's spasmodic turbulence induces vertigo or hysteria. May the gnats biting me reincarnate as neonatal nurses, soothe me the first hours of my next life. May they be happy and free from fear. May the elderly alligator sunbathing on the putting green adjacent to my mother's condo in Boca loosen his leviathan jaws, allow the visiting pug from Brooklyn to wiggle free. May they both be happy, and so may my mother, binoculars raised, although I'm not 100% sure which one she's cheering for. May she be happy. Tonight, Tibetans will empty glasses and bowls to keep lonely, circling spirits from drowning. May they be happy and free from fear. Uncle, may you quench your unquenchable thirst. May I sleep, a baby swaying and bunting, the beloved undevoured lamb. Howling Boy. The middle of my life and my mother dead 2 months before. One in the car, or two, if you count Howling Boy, huddled under my dashboard as I drive through northern Alberta's dark hills, mining country, ripped and torn like bad gynecology. I need a town and a doctor, my right sole rubbed raw, a formless red field of blistering skin from a hike, from trying to climb in the rain. I've heard Howling Boy singing, "This is stupid, stupid, stupid," for the last 100 miles. He wanted fast food and a Holiday Inn. He was tired of wildlife, called out for roadkill, a bloody raccoon or coyote, something to poke. He needed arrows and Indians, chests pierced and exploding, babies on spits. Too bad she was dead. I could have given him this. Black feet with the cold moving up to her heart. And me in the easy chair, chanting, light rain beginning. How she'd moaned, how I'd panicked, as you do when a baby started to cry, and you're afraid you won't be able to stop it. The next poem I'm going to read is Whiskey Psalm, which is a psalm to the former beloved. Blessed is she who delights in your names. Skullcracker, ruckus juice, wildcat, C7 stars. Blessed is she who, filled with your baffling and powerful mercy, bursts out of silence, stammering her story to strangers she meets in the tavern, who feels your refining flame burn through the door she'd always found closed between her and other humans, who, under your care, wakes like a snake stirring in late winter mud packed deep in the riverbed, who longs to fornicate with free and fettered alike at your bidding, who finally finds love in creation's delicious, rough magic and mass, stumbling through thistles, weeds, and wet grass in moonlight, who raises her arms to you, shouting, I am your servant, as she dances into the woods on the outskirts of town, who, dizzy and stunned, falls to her knees in awe of the badger, crossing her path, lowering her own snout down to the ground, the better to search for kinship with the earth. Okay, the next poem I'm going to read is Goliath. Taking a few liberties with the story. Although the Lord did anoint the shepherd boy for kingship and glory, and far be it from me to second guess him, my heart goes out to Goliath, Canaanite headbanger, spear carrier for the duration. Predictable as hummus, as his only girlfriend once said in frustration. But a guy who secretly fed crowds of hungry cats, mewling behind his tent, unsure what he wanted to do when he mustered out. Till one dawn he stood sleepily, knee-deep in crabgrass in the valley of Elah, dutifully shouting at his adversary on orders from his commanding officer, sure that he, 7 feet tall, bronze-armored, each footstep an explosion in the grass, a guy who bench-pressed 225 pounds, recalcitrant cowlick in his mother's favorite picture, almost a short-timer now, could easily handle a face-off with a pipsqueak packing a slingshot. Thank you. So, I do have one more to read. And then I'll stop. Monkey spinning a prayer wheel. I staggered out of the theater after waiting for Godot. Geez, I griped to Peter, that's it? We're all just wind and gristle? Yep, he said after a minute, and I knew he was trying to remember whether he'd stuck the parking ticket in his wallet or pocket. He rather gallantly takes the notion of a meaningless universe in stride, while I feel like a bewildered monkey spinning a prayer wheel when I attempt to contemplate the so-called larger questions. At the Tibetan Buddhist Center downtown, we recite the Heart Sutra. Perceiving that personality is inherently empty saves beings from suffering. As monks, red cheeks puffed out like 20 dizzy Gillespies, accompany us, blowing long horns, strident heralds announcing ego's apocalypse. And I'm thinking, what? What are we talking about here? I recite daily my version of Marvin Gaye's mantra as fast as I can. What's going on? What's going on? What's really going on? Oh God, send me someone wise and shimmering. Send me the archangel who carries the sword that cuts through confusion. Or, if there's no archangel handy, send me a soothing, jazzy brunch voice and an arm pulling me onto the raft as I thrash in the river of dukkha, in my memory of chipping my tooth on the granite rock in our backyard and me wailing as my mother ran from her chaise lounge where she'd been sunbathing and reading Leon Uris, her freckled arms in the smell of her suntan oil. Where is she? Where is she? Thank you.